Hey guys, it's been far too long since I've got a PS Vita video up for you here, so that is exactly what I'm going to do for you today. And what better occasion to do that than the release of System Software 1.8, which just came out today with a few hiccups, but it's not looking too bad for us over here on the Japan side. So I'll go ahead and show you a few things here. Mostly I want to show you the PS1 support that was added. But as I do that, you'll see that this is already a new feature of 1.8 here. You can actually scroll around the system menus without using only the touch. I can now use the analog stick and the buttons, which is amazing. That's something that we've really wanted. A lot of people just complain that they smudge their screen up and that sort of thing when they don't want to. So this is great. The only other thing I wish they would have added on top of this is I wish they would have added some way to unlock it using a combination of the buttons. Obviously they don't want something too simple. They don't want you unlocking your Vita in your pocket if your Vita fits in your pocket. But some way of unlocking the system here without having to touch the screen would have been pretty cool. But for now I guess we'll have to deal with that. But the fact that they added this in is quite neat. You can also get up as far as like your notifications and scroll through that kind of stuff. So that's quite neat. Very happy that they added that in. But as I mentioned, the big thing here today is the PS1 support. So I have added a bunch of games from my library here to the bottom. Happily for me, all of the PS1 games that I currently own are downloadable and good to go here. I guess Sony added a couple hundred games today, and they're going to add the remaining 400 or so, up to a total of over 600 within the next couple of weeks, which is amazing. On the North American side, Sony added 9 games today, and I wish I was kidding. 9 games. There are 9 games, and they aren't even downloadable on the store yet. I don't know what the hell the story is there. I'm not going to get too much into that, but that's just ridiculous. Sony Europe themselves did add over 100 games. I don't know that their store is up or not yet, downloading games directly from the store, but I guess when those respective stores update, you should be able to download it then. Anyway, I'm just going to go through and show off a couple of games here. What I've got on my Vita right now is Brave Fencer Musashi Den, also known as Brave Fencer Musashi. I have Cotton, Einhander, Xenogears, and Jumping Flash 2. So I'm just going to go through these one at a time. I'm not going to show off too much, but we'll just get into some of the features here. Why don't we start with Cotton? So again, being able to do all that with the buttons is quite neat. You'll see right here it says it's talking about the PlayStation Portable. So this is an emulator in an emulator. They did opt to use the PSP PS1 emulator, which is fine with me because it still is optimized for the Vita itself. So that's okay. It looks great on the Vita's screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is hold the screen down to show you the options. So doing that, you'll see we get the pop-ups, controller settings, memory card utility, other settings, and reset game. You'll see that I can also use the analog stick to control this, which is awesome. Let's go into controller settings. You have standard and custom settings here. Custom just allows you to basically customize the entire thing. Only downside here, the most annoying thing I've found, unless I've missed it, I looked through the whole thing, you cannot set the D-pad to your analog stick. So obviously a bunch of the PS1 games had analog support, which is great because the analog on the Vita will control that. But for games that didn't have analog support, only worked with the D-pad, you cannot set that to the Vita's analog stick, which is kind of surprising and pretty annoying because you could do it on the PSP. So obviously it's just something that they haven't implemented, and I hope that fan outcry reaches them and that comes soon because that is lame. The D-pad on the Vita is nice, so that's okay. But the analog sticks are obviously amazing, so it would be nice that you could use that left analog stick to control the D-pad for your PS1 software. Anyway, that's in there. Assign controllers, flipping between controller 1 and 2, and then the modes, analog mode and digital mode. All this is like pressing the analog button in the middle of a PS1 controller, basically turning off or on the analog stick. This does not allow you to use your PS Vita analog stick for a digital pad on a PS1 controller. Like I just mentioned, that does not work. However, for games that do support the analog stick, like Brave Fencer Musashi Den, which I'll show you in a minute, you need to set this to analog mode to be able to use your analog stick. Convoluted, not really. Memory card utility, yeah, this is just your memory card. So you're able to import saves, delete saves. This will show you your 15 blocks here. Other settings, screen mode. When you pull this up, it is nice. I'll show you this a little bit better because I'm on a black screen here. It's not the best way to show you. So here we go. This is Cotton. Obviously looking beautiful on the Vita screen. If you go to screen mode here, it allows you to see your screen in the background. So original is 1:1, normal, zoom, and full. Obviously zoom cuts it off, which is too bad, but I mean that's how it works. That's what it is. Full obviously stretches it down a little bit, pushes it down. I still think it looks pretty good. Full was usually what I used on my PSP, so I usually go for full. But just so you know, you purists or you 1-for-1ists, people who are really, really need that, you do have 1-for-1. You also have normal, which doesn't stretch it out this way. Zoom, I don't know. I mean, maybe some games work well with zoom, but I can't really think of when I would use that. And full. I'll use full. Some people might scoff at that, but there you go. Volume adjustment, you can go up to +2 there to make it sound a little louder, which is cool. Disk load speed, you might be familiar with this. You can set it to fast. It should load some games faster, but it might cause issues elsewhere. And bilinear filtering. And by checking and unchecking that, you can actually see in the background. I'm not sure how well you can see that there, but it is taking effect. So bilinear filtering gives it that smooth effect. Anyway, those are my options, and then I can reset the game from here. Only disappointment for me is not being able to use the analog stick on non-analog games like I mentioned. However, take a look at that. That looks awesome. So I'll quickly show you Cotton. If you don't know Cotton, it is a classic shooter. Scrolling, obviously. The good kind of shooter. See if I can get the colors to show up a little bit better here. Anyway, I think you can see a little bit. The reds aren't showing up very well thanks to my iPhone camera, but it looks quite nice. Obviously, the OLED screen on the Vita is wonderful for watching just about anything, and happily that includes PS1 games. Alright, I know some of you out there are going, why is he playing Cotton? Alright, that's Cotton. One more thing to show you real quick is you can access the game's instruction manuals by pulling that up there. Just like your Vita software, just like your PSP software. So, if you're curious about that, there that is. Alright, there's Cotton. Let's get into something a little more known. Why don't we go with Xenogears? Let's boot that up. Obviously, the intro to Xenogears is very long. I'm not going to play it, but we'll get it started, see what it looks like. And it does seem like each game saves its own settings with this, which is awesome because PSP games weren't doing that before. I'll have to check and see if that changed after the update. Games weren't saving their personal settings. However, with the PS games here, they are. So, didn't mean to hit that. So yeah, we'll set these for each of the games here, and then not have to worry about it. Alright, let's get Xenogears booted up here. Definitely one of my favorite PS1 games. I actually just played through it less than a year ago, and still really loved it. Skip this just so that I can get into some actual game graphics and see how it looks. Check out the graphics there. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's just a bunch of text. Not too much longer here. There you go. Nice colors again with the game here. Looks good. Make sure I turn bilinear filtering on. I think I might have missed that. Oh, no, it's on. Alright, we're good. Alright, so the 3D graphics of the gear fights look pretty awesome, actually. It's kind of amazing what small, nice screens will do for old game graphics, especially old 3D graphics. Because when you play this on a standard definition TV these days, it looks like crap. Not Xenogears in particular, but... Alright. Looks pretty good, actually. Right past this, I'll get to the meat of the graphical style of Xenogears, so we'll be able to see what it looks like. But judging from Saiten's character model there, he looked pretty good. And if you haven't played this game before, you really should, because it's awesome. There we go. Clear and bright, just like I'd hoped. It really is amazing what screens like this do for old games. And again, some of the colors are getting slightly washed out here thanks to my phone. But you should be able to tell. You should be able to see. It looks pretty good. So there you go. That's Xenogears. The 2D sprites look nice. The 3D looks good. So very nice, very nice. Let's pop out of that one. So let's jump into Einhander here. Einhander, obviously a bit of a fan favorite here. Let's see how it holds up. But shooters are a game that you know, they never age. They're always awesome. So Einhander was a game that came out when Squaresoft was experimenting with a lot of different genres back on the PS1. And most of the games that came out during that time actually turned out awesome. So it's a shame that they never really tried to make a sequel or something to Einhander. But obviously if they did it now, it would probably just be crappy.
There was a time.
Alright, so let's just jump right into it. Wow. Wow, this looks really nice actually on the Vita screen. And it might just be that the original game had an exceptional frame rate. Maybe that's partially why it's looking so good. But this looks awesome. This looks great. Hopefully you can see the colors pretty well. They're popping quite nicely on the Vita screen here. Especially the kind of dark and the green. And again, this is a really good game. I obviously mentioned that before. This game is awesome. Classic opening here. Yeah, this game looks really nice on this screen actually. I'm kind of blown away by how good this looks. And I think it might be, you know, the frame rate, because it is a really good frame rate. Just that, and you know, obviously a combination of that and the original game just kicking ass. So anyway, there you go. You can get an idea there. That is Einhander. Looks awesome on the Vita screen. There you go. After that, why don't we check out Jumping Flash 2. See how these 3D graphics look. Probably won't mess around with this too much. Let's hop into stage 1 here. Pretty simple 3D game, so let's just run around, see how it looks. Again, the colors are a bit washed out. Oh, there you go. Should be able to see it pretty well. But I mean, it really doesn't look that bad. There's just something about the way that a small screen like this, especially a nice OLED screen like this, just makes old games like this look. You know, I mean, there's almost a Minecraft-ish kind of quality about the graphics in this game here. And it doesn't look nearly as bad as it would, you know, on an SD TV, or especially on an HD TV, you know, in SD mode. You know, I'm not going to say that it really holds up, but I mean, it's more than playable, even in this day and age. You know, I mean, it just looks fine. Obviously, very colorful on the Vita screen. So this is Jumping Flash 2. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Let's hop into our last game here and show off Brave Fencer. Kind of another classic, another kind of fan favorite here. Check out how Brave Fencer looks. Go ahead and do my settings here. Go to full screen on it. So this, yeah, this is another full 3D game. But man, I mean, even this title screen, it's really, really sharp. Let's just check the intro out here and see how it looks. Let's kind of skip through this a little bit. Alright. Obviously the 3D back in the day it's coming through there, but no, it looks sharp. I mean, the polygons are sharp, the colors are nice. I'm getting my ass kicked. No. But I mean, this is a classic game. If you haven't played it before, it's an action RPG. Not totally unlike something like Zelda, although it is, you know, pretty unlike Zelda. The kind of special thing about this game is that you can actually absorb each enemy's individual powers. So it's almost Mega Man-ish in that way. And this is me not playing well because I'm looking at my iPhone screen and not my Vita screen, but hey. But yeah, another classic Squaresoft game with really good music. So I think this kind of gives me the tutorial here on how to absorb enemy powers. So I hold down R, send my sword into the guy here, and absorb his power. And I'm failing miserably. There we go. Alright. So now I can use his power, which is a machine gun, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, that's Musashi Den basically. If you never played it before, it's pretty fun actually. And, you know, again, I don't want to say that it looks amazing, but more than playable on a handheld like this. There's just something about the way that this makes these old games look. It's awesome. So there you have it. That's my overview of, you know, initial impressions, PS1 games on the PS Vita. Looks good so far. Hopefully they get more up over in the West. Europe's looking good. Hopefully North America, they can get something going. But until then, many of the games are transferable from a PS3. So if that's all you got, go ahead and get on that. But yeah, these look good. I'm going to have to decide what I want to play through first. I have a lot more games too that I should download and get on here to check out. But I figured those would be good for initial impressions. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will be back on Thursday with an unboxing of the limited edition Hatsune Miku Vita, as well as some gameplay videos of the Miku game. So check back for that. I will see you then.